The holiday deals have been unbelievable, and in today's episode we're going to take a look at some of the best deals you can pick up right now on the eShop, and all either at a new all-time low or at least matching a previous low. Hey everyone, I'm JP and welcome to the Digital Game Room. To the crew here at the channel, thanks my friends. As always, you know we truly appreciate you hanging out with us for a few minutes again today. If this happens to be your first time here, welcome my friends. We cover Nintendo Switch games and deals every week and we love sharing the savings with the crew. If you have a good time and you enjoy saving money on great games, consider joining the crew by hitting that red button down below to subscribe. We'd love to welcome you and we'll do our best to fill up your backlog without emptying out your bank account. Either way though, thanks again, and as always, stay safe out there and please enjoy the video. Reknum is a 2D single-player action platformer with some RPG elements thrown into the mix. The game has a main story that will last roughly 4 to 5 hours and a download size of 135 megabytes. This game is definitely challenging and I've already rage quit a few times with it. We play as a young princess named Cherry and we have to explore the 6 different zones looking for loot and crystals to increase our power. Each of the different zones adds something new to keep the game fun and interesting throughout, plus the retro graphics and sound are top notch and the boss battles are really fun as well. If you're a fan of other games in the series just like before, or you want a punishingly hard platformer, be sure to check Reknum out before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 60%, matching the previous low of just $199. Figment is a single-player 3D action-adventure game with a main story that should last roughly 5 to 7 hours to wrap up and a download size just under 2 gigabytes. The hand-painted art and animations plus the peaceful soundtrack were the biggest draw to me for the game. I always heard good things about this game and I'm glad I finally gave it a try a little while ago. The gameplay itself is very similar to Bastion or Transistor if you've ever played those before, but the whole game takes place inside of the mind of a young man who's been in an accident and fallen into a coma. Throughout the story, we play out the man's imagination and solve the random puzzles along the way. This game really is a must-buy and it's at a new all-time low, so be sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 5th. It's marked down 90% to just $199. Riddled Corpses EX is an arcade-style twin-stick shooter for 1 to 2 players in local co-op with a download size around 190 megabytes and a main story that will last roughly 4 hours to wrap up. There are, however, a lot of different game modes, a lot of them multiplayer focused, including the arcade mode, which is all-out mayhem. We have 6 different playable characters, all with unique stats and abilities, upgrades and unlockables, and there's online leaderboards as well. There's even a demo on the eShop for folks that are still on the fence, but I have to say I've had a good time with this one, and if you're a fan of games like Galaxy Champions TV or Smash TV, you'll probably enjoy this one as well. Riddled Corpses EX is on sale until January 1st, marked down 80%, matching a previous low of just $199. The Count Lucanor is a single-player adventure-style RPG from Merge Games with a download size of 390 megabytes and a main story that will last roughly 4 to 6 hours to wrap up. Now this is a disturbing game shown from a top-down view with some of the best pixel art on the Switch in my opinion. The story follows a young boy named Hans who runs away from home and finds himself trapped in a nightmarish castle with a devious ruler who likes to play twisted games. The castle is huge and full of secrets, but you have to be careful as every decision you make can alter the final outcome, and there are 5 different endings total. This is always a great value, and right now it's on sale until January 6th, marked down 87% to a new all-time low of just $199. Overcooked, the Special Edition, is a party-style multiplayer game from Team 17 with a download size just under 1 gigabyte, offering hours of chaotic fun for the whole family and local co-op. Now in the Special Edition, you get the original game of course with all the original kitchens as well as both expansions. That includes the Lost Morsel and Festive Seasoning, making it a great value when you can find it on sale. The story is that the Onion Kingdom is in danger and only the finest cooking will be able to save it, so we'll have to work together through a variety of cruel and punishing kitchens on a quest to become master chefs. Now of course there's a heavy emphasis on multiplayer here and this is infuriatingly fun. If you like these party style games, now's the time to check it out as the Special Edition is on sale until January 6th at a new all-time low, marked down 90% to just $199. Next we have Blood Will Be Spilled. This is a single-player 2D strategy adventure game that will take roughly 5 to 6 hours to complete and has a download size right around 2 gigabytes. This is an epic adventure with enough guns and melee weapons to keep even the most hardcore gamers satisfied. The game plays a lot like SteamWorld Heist in that it's a strategy turn-based combat system. The voice acting though was a particular highlight for us as it was top-notch. I love the art and animation in this one. It's kinda like a comic book coming to life on the screen. If you like SteamWorld Heist or other strategy-based adventure games, make sure to check out Blood Will Be Spilled before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 80%, matching a previous low of just $299. Next up, we have Crypt of the Necrodancer, the Nintendo Switch edition. This is a rhythm-based dungeon crawler for 1 or 2 players in local co-op from Brace Yourself Games with a download size just under 2 GB and a main story that will last more than 20 hours. This is definitely one of my favorite games, but also one of the toughest and the ones that I've quit the most. Basically, you have to move through the dungeons and attack on a rhythm to the beat that's playing in the background. It sounds a little bit odd at first, but the game is fantastic, and of course in a game like this it all comes down to the soundtrack, which was amazing. The co-op mode is even more chaotic and just an extra bonus, making this an even better value. If you still haven't played Crypt of the Necrodancer, be sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 3rd. It's marked down 80%, matching a previous low of just $3.99. The Party Hard plus High Crimes Pack is an arcade-style puzzle game from Tiny Build Games, available for 1 to 2 players offline with the main story that will take roughly 10 hours to finish up. Ever had a neighbor that was always loud and obnoxious at all hours of the night? Well, in Party Hard, you'll experience just that. Our goal is to ruin the party and put an end to the ones disrupting our peace by any means necessary. There are 19 different levels, and the levels can have various random elements every time you play to keep things fresh. Now, the game is played from a top-down view and features some amazing pixel art graphics that look great on the Switch. There are tons of playable characters and loads of secrets to find, and if you're interested in this bundle, it's on sale until January 6th, marked down 75%, matching a previous low of just $4.49. Yoku's Island Express is a single-player 2D puzzle platformer from Team 17 with a download size around 1.5 GB and has a main story that will last roughly 8 to 10 hours to wrap up. This is an extremely charming game and one of our personal favorites here at the channel. We get to assume the role of the island's new postmaster, and it's our job to make sure to deliver everyone's mail on time. The only problem is that a lot of the island is already inhabited by some scary monster or some other obstacle that we have to overcome. The game blends the classic platforming that we already love with unique pinball mechanics. The sound and artwork are perfect, and the story is emotional and gripping. If you still haven't given this one a shot, please check it out. You may be surprised how much fun it actually is, and right now it's on sale until January 6th, matching a previous low of just $4.99, a discount of 75%. Aegis Defenders. This is a multiplayer RPG from Humble Games with a download size around 1.5 GB and a main story that will last around 15 hours or so. This game is gorgeous on the Switch, and it features some amazing pixel art graphics and a wonderful soundtrack to accompany them. Now, this is a mashup of 2 genres done almost to perfection. Players will have to explore, build, and defend in this unique mashup of action platforming and tower defense. We play as a team of hunters searching the ruins for the only thing that may be able to save our village. This is another one of those great options if you have a sibling or a friend that you like to play games with in local co-op. If you're interested, make sure to check out Aegis Defenders before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 75% to a previous low of just $4.99. Aggelos is a retro-style single-player adventure game from publisher P-Cube with a main story that will last roughly 7 to 8 hours to wrap up, and it has a download size around 230 megabytes. This game combines an old-school look with modern gameplay and controls, making it one of the most fun retro platformers on the Switch in my opinion. Players explore a vast kingdom with a wide variety of unique locations, the music is top-notch, and the boss battles were by far a highlight for us. If you're interested in Aggelos, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's currently marked down 87% to a new all-time low of just $1.99. Dicey Dungeons is a single-player strategy RPG developed by Distractionware Limited with a download size around 1.1 GB, and it offers more than 40 hours of main story gameplay, making it an excellent value. This is a deck-building roguelike where you fight your way through an ever-changing dungeon, searching for loot and experience as you level up your party. There are 6 playable characters, each with unique playstyles and different skills, giving this game a lot of variety to how you can approach the battles. The final battle itself relies heavily on skill. You won't be able to rely on luck. However, if you like deck builders, make sure to grab this one up before the sale ends on January 5th. It's marked down 80% to a new all-time low of just $2.99. Elli is a single-player 3D puzzle platformer with a top-down view from publisher Banana Kid and will take roughly 6 to 7 hours to wrap up. It has a download size around 750 megabytes, and it features a likable protagonist, some cleverly designed puzzles, and excellent level design for players to roam around in. Now, while you can tell it was made by a small team, the actual gameplay is solid, and it offers a great platforming experience with tight controls and beautiful scenery. The control scheme itself is also pretty simple, making it a great game for both kids and adults alike. If you're into puzzle-style platform games, Elli is currently on sale until January 10th, marked down 75%, matching a previous low of just $1.99. Next up, we have Far Lone Sales. This is a single-player adventure platformer from Mixed Vision and offers roughly 3 hours of main story gameplay with a download size around 2.2 gigabytes. The game is absolutely beautiful on the Switch, and it has amazing art and animations, plus the music really helps to set the atmosphere as you start to really feel alone, with nothing but your trusty machine to help you get across the vast nothingness. The journey takes you across a dried out seabed, and you have to learn to maintain and repair the massive vessel that you're traveling in. Again, this game is all about atmosphere and story, but if you're interested in far loan sales, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 75%, matching a previous low of just $374. Flipping Death is a single-player 2D puzzle platformer from publisher Zoink Games and offers roughly 5 to 10 hours of main story gameplay. In this one, we play as a young woman named Penny who dies under strange circumstances, and when we awake, we find ourselves filling in for Death himself. The unique feature to this game is that you have the ability to flip between the world of the living and the world of the dead, and you'll use this mechanic to help solve the many puzzles that you encounter along the way and uncover the mysterious circumstances surrounding your death. The game features a rich and colorful environment with a unique pop-up book art style and a very emotional story that is sure to keep you engaged and moving forward. If you're interested in this one, you can get Flipping Death on sale until January 8th, marked down 80%, matching a previous low of just $399. Freedom Planet is a single-player 2D adventure game with a download size around 380 megabytes and a main story that should last roughly 8 to 10 hours to wrap up. The game is shown from a side view with gorgeous 2D pixel art graphics, a rocking soundtrack to pump you up, and smooth gameplay. The boss battles were a highlight for us with this one though, as not only are they epic and fun to fight against, but they even have their own theme music and every one of them is awesome. There are 3 different playable characters, a cool momentum-based platforming system, and tons of content on offer, making this a great value. Right now you can pick up Freedom Planet on sale until January 4th, marked down 70% to a new all-time low of just $449. GoNNer is a single-player action platformer from Raw Fury with a download size around 600 megabytes and a main story that will last roughly 9 to 10 hours to wrap up. The game is tough as nails and the levels are procedurally generated. In this one though, the rage is real and you'll surely die a lot. Not to worry though, that's by design and each death will make you better for the next run. Plus, before each run you have the option to buy upgrades for the following run, and you can even get some permanent upgrades, so as you might expect, eventually you get the hang of things and start doing a lot of damage. This is definitely an addictive game and worth checking out. Right now you can pick it up on sale until January 1st, marked down 80%, matching a previous low of just $199. Lightfall is a single-player 2D action platformer with an absolutely stunning visual style from Bishop Games. It has a download size around 3.3 gigs and a main story that will last roughly 7 to 10 hours to wrap up. In this one, we explore through the world of Numbra, trying to uncover the past and save the world from an impending doom. We have to use the Shadow Core, which is a magical box that you can conjure under your feet to help you move around the different levels and overcome the different puzzles. Along the way, we're guided by our companion, a grumpy old owl named Strix, who also acts as the in-game narrator. If you're interested in Lightfall, be sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 80% to a new all-time low of just $299. LIMBO is a single-player adventure game from Playdead, the same folks that made Inside, and it has a download size around 120 megabytes with a main story that will last roughly 3 or 4 hours to finish up. The gameplay is similar to other games in the genre, just with a much darker, monotone graphical aesthetic. The controls are amazing and the atmosphere set up by the eerie music and sounds is outstanding. Having played many games in the genre, I have to say Playdead has mastered these games, as this is just as good as any other out there, and as usual the puzzles and enemy encounters were amazing. This is another game that we highly recommend here at the channel, and it's on sale until January 1st, marked down 80%, matching a previous low of just $199. Pato Box is a single-player arcade-style fighting game from Bromeo and will take roughly 6 to 8 hours to complete, and it has a download size around 1.5 gigabytes. The game has an over-the-shoulder view with a very similar look to something like Punch-Out from past generations, but it not only looks like those titles, it also shares almost identical movesets with Punch-Out as well. You dodge left or right or duck and either land a high punch or a body shot. Where the game sets itself apart though is the story. It follows Pato after he's been ambushed at the height of his career. We set out on a mission to uncover the true reason behind the vicious attack on our way to the final boss. You aren't confined to just the ring though, you actually get to walk around and explore as you work your way to the different bosses. If you're interested in Pato Box, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 80%, matching a previous low of just $299. Severed is a single-player, first-person RPG from Drinkbox Studios and has a main story that will last roughly 5 to 7 hours to wrap up. In this one, we play as a young girl who's lost her family, and we set out on a quest to find them. The game is surprisingly difficult, with some enemy encounters that are brutally challenging, but in turn also rewarding. Now, the combat is sort of a mixture of standard RPG mechanics and something like Fruit Ninja, where you have to swipe your fingers across the screen to attack. In fact, you have to play the game in handheld mode. One heads up though, the dungeons do become very maze-like, so it did require a pretty heavy amount of backtracking, but just keep that in mind. If you're interested in Severed, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 80% to a new all-time low of just $2.99. Splasher is a fun and challenging 2D platformer full of comedy and set in a crazy Cartoon Network. The game has a download size around 1.5 gigabytes and it has a main story that will last roughly 7 to 8 hours to complete. Armed with just our trusty paint cannon, you face off against the dangerous Ink Corp and their mega factory to save our fellow Splashers. Now this is another challenging game that will require lightning quick reflexes and patience as you discover new ways to tackle each level. The game has one of the most outrageous soundtracks and bright colorful environments, so I had to pick it up a little while ago. If you're a fan of comedy and 2D platformers that are tough as nails, make sure to pick this one up before the sale ends on January 2nd. It's marked down 75%, matching a previous low of just $374. SuperEpic The Entertainment War is a single-player 2D action platformer from Numbskull Games with a download size around 870 megabytes and a main story that will last roughly 10 hours or so to finish up. The game takes place in the not-so-distant future where a corrupt video game company has taken over control of the masses with addictive and free video games. We play as a young raccoon with our trusty steed as we explore the offices of this corrupt corporation, taking on a wide variety of different enemies, epic boss battles, and overcoming the puzzles we find along the way. It's up to us to break in and save the world. If you're interested in SuperEpic, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 13th. It's marked down 88%, matching a previous low of just $215. Sine Mora EX. This is a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up for 1 to 2 players and local co-op from publisher THQ Nordic and offers roughly 5 to 6 hours of main story gameplay. Now this is a remaster of a beloved game and features a unique gameplay mechanic in that instead of a normal health meter or health points, instead you actually have a timer and each hit can affect this timer, making it tick down faster. With this kind of intense stress, mistakes can tend to compound on one another, and I love it. The game also features over 50 weapon combinations for use in each of the stages and even has an arcade mode for classic fans of the series. The soundtrack was just a cherry on top, and fans of shooters should definitely check this one out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 93% to a new all-time low of just $199. OXENFREE is a single-player 2D adventure game from publisher Night School Studios and has a main campaign that will last roughly 5 to 10 hours with a download size just over 2.2 gigs. This is a supernatural thriller about a group of friends mistakenly opening a ghost gateway during an overnight party. The game features an intelligent conversation system that will change the outcome of the story based on your dialogue choices. OXENFREE is a wonderful experience for fans of old school horror films from the 80s, and everything is done right. If you still haven't picked up OXENFREE, definitely consider checking it out. Right now it's on sale until January 1st, marked down 80% to a new all-time low of just $199. Gato Roboto is a charming and cute 2D retro platform style game from Devolver Digital with a download size around 900 megabytes and a main story that should take around 3 to 4 hours to wrap up. I was addicted to this game right away. I love the graphics and the controls are great. Plus, to be honest, the title alone was worth a few dollars in my opinion. Now, in all seriousness though, behind the silly title and the retro graphics, which I loved, there's a solid game here with really fun gameplay and an amazing retro soundtrack. You get to hop in and out of your armorized mech suit and traverse both land and underwater in this amazing little platformer. If you still haven't played this one, please give it a look. Right now you can pick it up on sale until January 1st. It's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $399. Wizard of Legend is an action-adventure style game from Humble Games available for 1 to 2 players in local co-op and offers a main story that will last more than 15 hours. Now this is a fast-paced dungeon crawler with an emphasis on the dynamic combat system. You have to think fast and move quick, and if you can do so fast enough, you'll be able to chain together spells for massive damage bonuses. The game has more than 100 different spells that you can find and then combine in cool different ways. Plus, this gives the player a level of freedom to how you choose to approach the game. You can either dive headfirst into combat, or you can let your minions do your work for you, and of course you can do all of this, like I said, solo or with a friend in co-op. If you're interested in Wizard of Legend, be sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 70% to a new all-time low of just $4.79. Foregone is a single-player action platformer from Big Blue Bubble and offers more than 10 hours of main story gameplay with a download size around 1.4 gigabytes. Now again, this is a fast-paced 2D platformer with an amazing pixel art aesthetic and an immersive soundtrack. We take on the role of a super soldier tasked with defending our city by uncovering the secrets of the past. Along the way, you find and collect a wide variety of different powerful weapons, and you learn new powerful abilities that you'll need to face off against the final boss. There are tons of enemies to have some fun with, and this game is highly recommended while on sale until January 1st. It's marked down 75% to a new all-time low of just $4.99. Mark of the Ninja Remastered is a single-player stealth platformer from Clay Entertainment and has a main story that will last roughly 15 hours to wrap up with a download size around 3.6 gigabytes. The game has excellent controls, smooth animations, and a great soundtrack. The story is a bit on the lacking side, but the gameplay more than makes up for it. The kills are brutal and the gameplay is engaging. I really like the simple yet satisfying stealth system that's in place in the game, and one really neat feature is that you have the option to play in complete stealth mode or just go nuts and rush into battle. If you still haven't played this one, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 75%, matching a previous low of just $4.99. 9 Parchments is a cooperative RPG style game with the main story that will last roughly 8 to 9 hours, and it has a download size around 2.6 gigabytes. In this one, we play as a group of runaway apprentice wizards convinced that they can complete their training on their own if they just find and collect the 9 Parchments. Now this is a beautiful game on the Switch and it runs great too, plus there are loads of collectibles and upgrades to be found, spells to unlock and master, and fun to be had with a group of friends or family members. The game does offer local and online play for up to 4 players, so if you're interested in this one, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 75%, matching the previous low of just $4.99. A Short Hike is a single-player action platformer with a download size around 430 megabytes and a main story that will last roughly 3 to 4 hours to wrap up. Now while the story isn't very long, it's definitely gripping and absolutely a game you should check out. We get to hike, climb, and soar through the peaceful mountainside landscapes of Hawk Peak Park. Now you are left to explore the game at your own pace and in any direction that your heart desires. It's really just a peaceful experience, and the soundtrack is a particular highlight, and it does a great job of adding to the overall immersion. If you're interested in A Short Hike, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 30%, matching a previous low of just $5.59. Next we have Chasm. This is a single-player retro-style action RPG from publisher Leadman Games and has a main story that will last roughly 10 hours to wrap up. In this one, players explore the depths below a remote town in the mountains to investigate a series of strange disappearances amongst the townsfolk. The game is heavily inspired by older Metroidvania-style dungeon crawlers and features a truly immersive and ever-changing world for players to roam around in. The art and sound are top-notch, but the boss battles were a particular highlight for us. They are massive and epic battles. The game does have a download size around 1 gigabyte, and right now it's on sale until January 1st. You'll be able to grab it up for 70% off, matching a previous low of just $5.99. Haven Park is a single-player exploration game from Moon Eye Studios with a download size around 570 megabytes and roughly 3 to 4 hours of main story gameplay. However, with the crafting system and the peaceful nature of the game, you'll probably get way more time out of it than that. We play as the new park ranger, so to speak, and it's our job to restore it back to its former glory. The game of course encourages exploration, and it lets you set up and build camps all around the island, plus there are even a few secrets scattered about. The characters and the story are both charming, plus the music is incredibly peaceful. If you're interested in Haven Park, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 25% to a new all-time low of just $6.74. Blazing Chrome is a 2D arcade-style run-and-gun shooter from the Arcade Crew with a download size around 140 megabytes and a main story that will last roughly 3 to 4 hours. Plus, it's available for 2 players in co-op as well. In this one, machines rule the world and the human race is on the brink of extinction. It's up to us to take out the machines and regain control. There are 5 amazing levels full of hundreds of enemies and some really cool boss battles that you get to fight as well. The retro graphics and sound really give this an authentic arcade feel, and with the local co-op, the game becomes even more fun. If you're interested in Blazing Chrome, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 60%, matching a previous low of just $6.79. Ghost and Apples is an addictive and deceptively challenging puzzle game from rough cyberhumans with a download size around 220 megabytes, and it also has 2-player local co-op that is a blast as well, making this a great value and one of my favorite games on the list. There are more than 150 handcrafted levels, 2 distinctly different playable characters, and they even have different game modes. Plus the soundtrack was top notch as well. What's really cool is that while you play, you'll unlock new paintings in this house that you go through, and they act as the levels. But you can even find secret rooms and special rooms with some really cool NPCs that you get to talk to. It may look simple, but trust me, this game is way tougher than it looks at first. It's easy enough for young gamers to jump in, but it's also challenging enough for veteran gamers. Right now you can pick it up on sale until January 1st, marked down 30% to a new all-time low of just $6.99. The Swords of Ditto Mormo's Curse is an action RPG with a top-down view from Devolver Digital, available for 2 players offline with the main story that will last roughly 15 hours to wrap up. Now this is a unique game where every adventure becomes its own legend. The good and the bad decisions that you make, your successes, your failures, all carry over to the next run and have an impact on future adventures. In fact, this can even affect the items and upgrades that you'll be able to find as well. The game is full of beautiful environments, a thumping soundtrack, and secrets everywhere to uncover, and you can take on the main quest line or just tackle any number of the different side quests available. If you're interested in Swords of Ditto Mormo's Curse, make sure to pick it up while on sale before January 1st. It's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $7.49. Axiom Verge is a single-player action platformer with a main story that will last roughly 15 to 20 hours, and it has a download size around 320 megabytes. After an accident at a lab, a scientist wakes up in a mysterious alien-filled world. Players will have to explore this new maze-like world filled with horrific monsters, mechs, and your own internal demons, as you search for new weapons and abilities to find that you'll need to progress further into the story. You can even use items like game glitches to manipulate your enemies into helping you solve different puzzles. If you've never played Axiom Verge, it's on sale and it's a must-buy. Right now you can pick it up until January 1st, marked down 60%, matching a previous low of just $7.99. Hyper Light Drifter, the Special Edition, is a single-player action RPG with a download size around 850 megabytes, and it offers more than 10 hours of main story gameplay. This game is gorgeous and has an amazing soundtrack, plus the gameplay is smooth and extremely fun, and on top of that it runs at a smooth 60 FPS and includes the new exclusive content as well. The world is vast and beautiful, albeit a bit dangerous. Still, it's well worth exploring as it's loaded with secrets. The retro aesthetic combined with the modern gameplay mechanics make for an amazing gameplay experience overall, and if you're interested, it's currently on sale until January 6th. Be sure to check it out as it's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $9.99. Blue Fire is a single-player platform RPG coming to us from publisher Graffiti Games with a main story that will last roughly 10 to 15 hours to wrap up and a download size around 5 gigabytes. In Blue Fire, players will embark on a journey through various temples and locations filled with increasingly harder platforming challenges while completing quests and finding collectibles along the way. The game is all about fast-paced movement and quick reflexes. The art style is phenomenal, and again, the soundtrack was incredible. If you're interested in Blue Fire, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $9.99. Shantae and the Pirate's Curse is one of many great 2D adventures in the series from publisher WayForward and can take roughly 5 to 10 hours to wrap up. Now this is the third game in the main series, and at its release it was the biggest game in the series. We once again play as the purple-haired genie, but this time we've lost all of our powers, so we have to team up with our nemesis, a nefarious pirate named Risky Boots. You'll have all new abilities, and many of them are needed to advance the story, defeat enemies, and take down the epic bosses. Right now you can pick up Shantae and the Pirate's Curse along with many other games in the series on sale until January 1st. This one's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $9.99. Fight and Rage is an arcade-style fighter from Blitworks Studios and offers a main story that will last anywhere from 20 to more than 200 hours to beat, depending on how much you want to complete. The game features several different endings, an awesome combo system, loads of unlockables including costumes, characters, and even unlockable enemies. But one of the most unique features in the game is that it has local co-op for up to 3 players at one time. There are even some challenge stages and modes designed for the most hardcore of gamers, and if you're interested in jumping back into this harsh world controlled by mutants, where humans fight for survival. Be sure to check it out before January 1st. It's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $9.99. Neon Abyss is a single-player action platformer from Team 17 and offers roughly 10 to 15 hours of main story gameplay with a download size around 745 megabytes. Now this is a fantastic game where you run and gun your way into the Abyss as part of the Grim Squad. The game features a unique dungeon evolution system where each run is altered by the previous one. Again, this gives the player a level of freedom to how you complete and expand each dungeon. Another really cool feature is how the items can stack in almost an infinite amount of different ways, and these will be the key to your success, so make sure to experiment and play around with the different combinations. This is another game we highly recommend that the channel went on sale, and if you haven't checked it out yet, make sure to do so before January 6th. Right now it's marked down 50% to a new all-time low of just $9.99. Golden Force is an adventure-style platformer with a gorgeous pixel art aesthetic and a charming story, available for 1 to 2 players in local co-op with a story that will last roughly 3 to 4 hours to wrap up. The game features 4 playable characters, an old-school level of difficulty, fantastic boss battles, and loads of secrets to find. You'll be able to explore all 4 worlds solo or with a friend locally, which as you know we always love here at the channel. Players take on the role of 1 or 2 of the elite Golden Force with promises of gold and epic battles. This is definitely one of my favorite games, and it was part of the No Gravity Games giveaway this year, so make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 13th. It's marked down 55% to a new all-time low of just $9.99. Overcooked 2 is a multiplayer style party game from Team 17 with a download size around 5.7 gigabytes and offers dozens and dozens of hours of chaotic gameplay, both in local and online co-op, which is a first for the series. Now of course, after saving the world, a new threat has arisen, which calls for the finest chefs to reunite once again. In this one, the kitchens are more dangerous than ever before, and now with the addition of online multiplayer, the game is even more fun since you aren't tied to just that local co-op only. The game really does just build on all of the great parts of the original, and right now it's on sale until January 6th, marked down 75% to a new all-time low of just $6.24. Please be sure to check it out. Monster Sanctuary is an adventure-style platform RPG, again from Team 17, with a download size just over 650 megabytes and a main story that should last roughly 30 hours to wrap up. Now the game does have multiplayer action for 2 players as well, but it's more of a PvP style. It features gorgeous pixelated graphics with a side-scrolling view and sees players collecting, training, and battling with monsters similar to something like Pokemon. Players get to embark on an epic adventure using the monsters that you find along the way, as well as the teammates that you'll gather. The game is a Metroidvania, and the abilities that you unlock by finding the new monsters will hold the key to your progression through the different stages. On top of that, the monsters that you find you can use in the head-to-head battle mode as well, which is awesome. If you're interested in Monster Sanctuary, be sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 66% to a new all-time low of just $6.79. Rico is a first-person arcade-style shooter from Rising Star Games with a download size of around 4.8 gigabytes and offers hours and hours of fast-paced action. The game is available for 2 players both in local and online co-op, and this is basically a buddy cop story where we play as 2 members of the Rico Task Force, doing what you'd expect, pursuing criminals and then taking them out. The catch is you only have 24 hours to solve each case, and they're all procedurally generated, giving you tons of replayability. They even have daily cases, and they act as sort of like daily challenges in a way, and they're even online leaderboards as well. This is a pretty cool game and another great option for online gameplay. If you're interested in Rico, be sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 8th. It's marked down 65% to a new all-time low of just $6.99. Origami The Shadow Edition is a 3D stealth-style action game from Merge Games and offers players roughly 10 to 12 hours of main story gameplay with a download size just around 3.7 gigabytes. In this one, we assume the role of an undead assassin, and as such, we have the power to control the shadows. This mechanic is used in combination with other abilities to make your way through each level. Now, the Shadow Edition includes the base game, of course, and the prequel DLC Nightfall as well. The DLC added new characters and new shadow powers that you get to master, and this is a great value when on sale. Right now you can pick it up at a new all-time low until January 6th. It's marked down 70% to just $8.99. Rogue Heroes Ruins of Tassos is an action RPG with a retro aesthetic coming to us again from Team 17 with a download size just over 1.6 gigabytes and a main story that should last more than 15 hours to finish up, making this an excellent option for RPG fans looking to share the experience online. You can team up with some friends to tackle the procedurally generated dungeons, explore the massive world, and then build your hometown. The game is shown from a top-down view and features an amazing soundtrack, with a really cool story as well. The boss battles are a lot of fun, especially with a group of friends, and this is probably my pick for the list, as I love when you can play games like this online. And this one is available for up to 4 people. If you're interested in Rogue Heroes, be sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 50% to a new all-time low of just $9.99. Next we have the Streets of Rogue Character Pack Edition. This is a retro-style action RPG from Tiny Build Games and offers hours of playtime for up to 4 players in both online and local couch co-op. Now this is a roguelite, except instead of dungeon crawling, Streets of Rogue has players doing missions and completing tasks in a procedurally generated city. Now these cities are bustling with other NPCs that really do make it feel alive, and these type of details in games like this can really make or break the sense of immersion and fun. Each different level offers the player certain goals, and from there it's up to you how you play. You can go run and gun all out action or slow, stealthy, and methodical. Really the choice is up to each player. Now of course this is the bundle with the character pack, which adds 6 new completely unique playable characters as well, and honestly if you're going to pick it up, this is definitely the version I would recommend. You can get this bundle on sale right now until January 6th, marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $11.49. Shakedown Hawaii is a single-player adventure game from publisher VBlank Entertainment and offers roughly 10 to 15 hours of main story gameplay, again with the download size just under 200 megabytes. The game follows 3 protagonists through a 16-bit open world that feels alive and absolutely supplanted from the 80s. It plays like an old-school GTA with a top-down view, and your goal is to become the biggest business tycoon on the island. This does mean by any means necessary. Now once you finish the main story, which again was outstanding, there really isn't a whole lot of replayability, but for that one play alone, it's worth the price. Right now you can pick it up on sale until January 1st, marked down 70% to a new all-time low of just $5.99. Evergate is a single-player adventure platform game from Stone Lantern Games with a main story that will last roughly 7 to 10 hours, and it has a download size around 3.7 gigabytes. In this one, players wield their soul flame and unleash extraordinary powers as you dive into the touching story of 2 kindred spirits. Now this is a journey through the beautiful and haunting afterlife in this unique 2D puzzle platformer. The game also has a really cool time-based mechanic allowing you to slow time and then use these crystals that you find to unleash your full power. The gorgeous environments paired with the original soundtrack were top-notch, and if you're interested in Evergate, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's currently marked down 40% to a new all-time low of just $5.99. Risk of Rain 2 is a 3D adventure game from Gearbox Publishing and is available for 1 to 4 players in both local and online gameplay. It has a download size around 3.1 gigabytes and offers more than 30 hours of chaotic action. In this one we find ourselves stranded on an alien planet and we must fight our way through hordes of enemies to make it to the end. There are 12 distinct different areas, each packed with challenging monsters and giant bosses. Plus they give you the option to either fight your way to the final boss right away or escape and continue your run until you feel ready for the final challenge. The game also has an incredible amount of items that you can find and combine together, which keeps it feeling fresh, and this is another game that hasn't been on sale in a while, and a great value when you can catch it. If you're interested in Risk of Rain 2, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 75% to a new all-time low of just $6.24. Slay the Spire is a single-player strategy RPG from Humble Games offering a main story that will last more than 40 hours, and it has a download size around 540 megabytes. Now this is a fusion of a deck-building card-style game mixed with a roguelike mashed together for a great experience. Like with many deck builders, the key to success will come from trial and error, finding the best combinations of cards to fill out your deck. The game world is an ever-changing one where each trip up the Spire will give players a new layout so the game doesn't start to feel stale too early on. As you travel through the Spire, you find different powerful relics that you can use to greatly enhance your deck, making easy work of the enemies that you encounter. If you're interested in Slay the Spire, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 70% to a new all-time low of just $7.49. Into the Breach is a challenging single-player turn-based strategy game from Subset Games with a download size around 450 megabytes, and it has a campaign that can last 20 to 40 hours, making this an excellent value. Now Subset Games has given us an amazing strategy game here with some twists to the normal mechanics that add a fresh spin on the genre and really help the game to stand out. The game has amazing level variety as well, and fans of tabletop style games will surely enjoy this one, as the Switch version is perfect both in docked as well as in handheld mode. There are enough tutorials and a difficulty toggle, making the game easy enough for newcomers and satisfying enough for longtime fans. And if you're interested in this one, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $7.49. Next we have Ys Origin. This is one of the greatest single-player action RPGs of all time, coming to us from .emu, and offers players roughly 20 to 40 hours of main story gameplay, depending on how much you want to explore. The game has a download size around 2.5 gigabytes, and it features 3 different playable characters with different skill sets and abilities, gorgeous environments, and multiple game modes as well. There are loads of relics and other collectibles to find, and some of the best music in any game. Plus, the boss battles are outstanding. If you're a fan of the series or action-based JRPGs in general, you should definitely consider picking this one up before the sale ends on January 1st. Right now it's marked down 60%, matching an all-time low of just $7.99. Hand of Fate 2 is a single-player tabletop deck-building RPG with a download size around 3.7 gigabytes and a main story that will last more than 40 hours. Now this is a blend of multiple genres all rolled into one, and they managed to pull it off flawlessly. The blend of deck building and questing is truly rewarding, and it can be quite difficult at times. It is a battle of wit and strength against the mysterious dealer, but if you choose your cards wisely and make it through to the end, you'll have played one of the best deck builders on the Switch. If you're interested in Hand of Fate 2, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 67%, matching a previous low of just $9.89. Sea of Solitude, the Director's Cut, is a single-player adventure game from Quantic Dream with a download size around 1.6 gigabytes, and it has a main story that will last roughly 4 to 5 hours. This game is beautiful on the Switch, and the storytelling is top tier. It's one of those games that's more of an experience than just a game, and this version was rewritten with an all-new script, and they even added voice acting into the cutscenes as well. Plus, there are even some console exclusives as well, making this one of the best ways to play the game. The story is very emotional, so be warned. If you're into a good narrative though, this is definitely a game I recommend and worth checking out while on sale until January 1st, marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $9.99. The Ninja Saviors Return of the Warriors is an amazing 2D retro fighter for 1 to 2 players in local co-op, and offers roughly 4 to 5 hours of main story gameplay. The download size is around 670 megabytes, and it does offer a little replayability, so your mileage may vary. Now this is a reboot of a classic game, and puts us in the role of one of the 5 android ninjas as we brawl our way through waves of different enemies. There are 8 different levels that we can fight through, either solo or, like I said, for the first time in the series with a friend and co-op. They've improved the mechanics and sound, and this is a great value when it's on sale, and right now you can get it for half price, marked down to just $9.99, matching an all-time low, and definitely worth checking out. Pode is a 3D puzzle-style adventure game from publisher Henchman & Goon with the main story that will take roughly 4 to 6 hours to complete, and it has a download size around 2.8 gigabytes. The game's also available for 2 players in local co-op, and in fact it was actually designed with co-op in mind, and it really is a blast if you have a friend or a sibling to play with. The story revolves around a rock and a fallen star who have to solve puzzles together in a stunningly beautiful world. You get to explore an ancient cave system to try to uncover its hidden secrets, and you can even combine the 2 characters' special moves together to overcome the different tougher puzzles. Now, as I said before, the game was designed with co-op in mind, but it's completely playable by yourself, and it's still a great time. If you're interested in this one, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $12.49. Phoenotopia Awakening is a single-player retro 2D RPG. This time it comes to us from Cape Cosmic, and it has a main story that will last more than 50 hours. The game has a gorgeous retro look and sound to it, and they were absolutely top-notch once again here on the Switch. It features a challenging combat system, unique puzzles, and it encourages exploration as well. The story itself revolves around a young girl who, while out gathering the rest of the children, gets sidetracked, and while away the entire town disappears, leaving just her and her friends to uncover the mystery. Along the way you face off with tough bosses that test your skills and reflexes, uncover secrets, find hidden paths and collectibles, and of course form friendships with different NPCs that will ultimately help you save your hometown. Right now you can pick up Phoenotopia Awakening on sale until January 6th, marked down 35% to a new all-time low of just $12.99. Unmetal is a single-player comedic take on the Metal Gear series and comes to us from Versus Evil with a download size of just 570 megabytes and a main story that will last more than 10 hours. In this one we play as Jesse Fox, a man who was imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit. We retell the story to the audience while we're being interrogated upon our return from being imprisoned, and the gameplay is absolutely amazing. The story had me laughing from the very beginning and I couldn't wait to finish the game. The voice acting is also absolutely top notch and this game is a true gem on the eShop in my opinion. It's shown from a top down view with pixelated graphics and I promise is well worth picking up while on sale until January 1st. Once again marked down 35%, matching an all time low of just $12.99. Curse of the Dead Gods is a single-player action-adventure title from Focus Home Interactive with the main story that will last more than 40 hours and a download size around 4 gigabytes. Now this is a skill-based roguelike set in a dark temple with endless rooms and hallways that you can explore. You definitely want to proceed with caution though, as there are deadly traps around every corner. The game features several different weapon types including both melee and ranged weapons, dozens of enemy types with amazing and tough boss battles as well, and each run is altered a bit from the last by the curse system that they have in place. If you're interested in Curse of the Dead Gods, make sure to check it out as it's on sale until January 1st, marked down 30% to a new all-time low of just $13.99. Death's Door is a single-player adventure game from Devolver Digital with a download size around 2.7 gigabytes and a main story that will last roughly 8 to 10 hours to wrap up. Now the controls will take a little bit of getting used to, but once you've got the hang of it, you'll be good to go. The atmosphere and music are top notch here with this one and it's a must-play game in the genre. The boss battles are unique and challenging, and while the game is definitely tough, it never feels unfair or cheap. The combat system is amazing, allowing you to blend magic use with melee weapons, and each of the levels were a blast to play through. Fans of pure action games should definitely check this one out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 25% to a new all-time low of just $14.99. Dusk is a single-player FPS from New Blood Interactive with a download size around 2.8 gigabytes and a main story that should last roughly 10 hours or so to wrap up. The game sees players battling through 3 different campaign episodes, all handcrafted and full of possessed baddies to mow down. We have access to a vast assortment of weapons, both melee and ranged, plus when you finish the campaign you can jump right into the endless survival mode. Now the game may look and feel like it's from the 90s, but it plays butter smooth at 60 FPS on the Switch, and it has some modern day features like the weapon wheel and gyro aiming, so anyone can jump right in and have fun. If you enjoy good retro FPS, make sure to check this one out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 25% to a new all-time low of just $14.99. Eldest Souls is a single-player action RPG from Fallen Flag Studios with a download size around 1.4 gigabytes and a main story that should last between 6 to 8 hours to wrap up. The story takes place after humankind has decided to rebel against the spiteful gods and imprison them within a large citadel. In a final act of vengeance, the gods decide to unleash a great desolation across the land. Now the game is incredibly hard and has some amazing boss battles, gorgeous graphics, and an emotional story, plus the game is just fun overall to play. You're basically battling through different combat scenarios and bosses as you work towards the ancient citadel. If you're interested in this one, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 25%, matching a previous low of just $14.99. Terraria is an action RPG with a retro aesthetic from Pipeworks Studios, available for up to 8 players online, or you can play by yourself if you would prefer to do so. The game offers more than 100 hours of gameplay, and it's always a fan favorite. Now this game has been available on other consoles for a while, but it finally came to the Switch in 2019, and it's been a top seller ever since. Players get to dig, explore, fight, and build in this procedurally generated world where you start with next to nothing but a pickaxe and you just get to explore. It's a blend of action and sandbox exploration with over 300 different enemies, 20 different boss battles, and 20 different environments as well. This really is a massive game with so much to do and so much to find, and if you still haven't played it, definitely check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $14.99. Streets of Rage 4 is an amazing beat-em-up from a long-lasting franchise that offers a main story that will take roughly 5 to 6 hours to complete. However, there's a lot of replayability here, so you may end up spending more than double or triple that with the game. You can also play in local co-op or online, with local being available for up to 4 players and online limiting that down to 2. Now this was a glorious return to the series and features beautiful hand-drawn graphics and animations, an absolutely fantastic soundtrack, and that classic gameplay we all love. There are even a load of unlockable characters as well, and this is a great value. Right now you can pick it up until January 1st, marked down 40%, matching a previous low, again of just $14.99. Next we have Death's Gambit, the Afterlife Edition. This is a single player action RPG with some platforming thrown in for good measure. The game features an expansive world with over 20 beautifully crafted levels, intense boss battles, multiple difficulty levels, and an alternate ending as well. Now this is a true Metroidvania featuring non-linear exploration where you have to unlock movement and combat upgrades in order to progress through the game. In this edition you also get 10 new levels, more than 30 new weapons, and 5 new boss battles, making this a great value and a perfect way for fans of the original to revisit the game and even see some new stuff. If you're interested in tough Metroidvanias with loads of content, make sure to check out Death's Gambit Afterlife Edition before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 20% to a new all-time low of just $15.99. Hades is a single-player action RPG from Supergiant Games and offers players more than 40 hours of main story gameplay with a download size just under 6 GB. So many people have expressed their love for this game and I was happy to see it go back on sale. In this one we assume the role of an immortal prince of the underworld wielding powerful weapons and abilities as we battle through hell on our way to fight the god of death himself. Now the game is gorgeous and has nearly perfect controls. It also gives you some permanent upgrades so you don't have to worry about losing everything after each run. Plus on top of that, each new run offers new surprises so the game has plenty of replayability. If you're interested in Hades, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 35% to a new all-time low of just $16.24. Alright folks, that's going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode. Thanks as always for hanging out with us again today. You know we truly appreciate it. I definitely hope you had a good time or maybe found a deal or two that you were interested in. Happy holidays to everyone out there, and if you missed last episode, I'll make sure to link it down below. Thanks again, you all are legendary. Have a wonderful week everyone. Much love, and we'll let Little Man take us home as always. Bye everyone.
That's all for today's list. We hope you liked the video. If you did, consider subscribing and liking down below. Okay, bye!